Hey, my guys, welcome to episode 12 of the My Guys Magic podcast. Happy New Year. I'm here with my boy Pete. Say what's up, Pete.
Hey, everybody, it's Pete. Happy New Year.
And we have a special guest this week, Benji Solomon. He was a competitor of the most recent NRG Champs, limited aficionado, farming people on arena and getting a bunch of boxes. I'm sure he's got a bunch of boxes in the mail coming from Wizards.
Send us some.
Benji, say what's up, man.
Hey everyone, hey Joe. Happy New Year everyone. Excited to be here.
Yeah, man. Again, thank you very much for taking the time to come and talk to us. I know it's been about a busy holiday season for you. I know you were traveling and having a good time, so we're glad we can make this work and talk to you a little bit about your Magic experience. So
Yeah, welcome to the show.
So with that said,
thank you guys for having me.
Yeah, man, very welcome. Really glad you're here. Just another shout out that kind of speaks to Benji's character. I was fortunate enough to stay with Benji. He opened up his home to me a couple years ago for the Chicago PT back in 2023.
Yeah.
Man, that time has flown by, huh?
Yes, sir. That was a good time.
It absolutely was. So I guess just a little bit of what we're going to discuss today. We're going to talk a little bit about Benji and his Magic experience. And then we're going to talk about upcoming events, the standard metagame as we head into Spotlight Atlanta. And then we're going to talk a little bit more about, how Benji prepped for NRG and how that experience was competing in NRG Champs. And then we're going to spend a little bit of time talking about this limited pro tour with the first qualifier coming up at Spotlight Atlanta. So with that, Benji, could you just tell us a little bit about kind of how long you've been playing the game and, how'd you fall in love with it, or, what was that experience like for you?
Well, I've been playing this game for a very long time. I've been playing this game since Time Spiral Block. And my brother taught me how to play. Well, kind of. He didn't want to teach me how to play because he didn't think I knew how to read well enough. But at the time, I was playing a bit of Yu-Gi-Oh, when I was like 6 years old or whatever. And then at some point, I was watching my brother and his friend play Magic, and I was like, I think I know how to play. And he was like, okay, then let's play. And we played a game together. And, I could kind of figured out the rules from there. But yeah, that was Time Spiral Block. My first deck was like White Weenie, Knight of the Holy Nimbus, flanking deck. Which flanking is a great first mechanic to learn when you're learning about Magic. But it certainly helped me learn a lot about like complex combat math and stuff like that.
For sure.
Because it sure is a complicated mess going into combat with a bunch of flanking creatures. But yeah, immediately loved Limited, like loved my first draft. I think my first draft was Future Sight with some friends at their house. Like they bought a box of Future Sight for their birthday and we drafted it. And my first pre-release was Lorwyn. And I remember back in the day, there were these big pre-releases with like 40 people per event, and they would launch like multiple events during the day, and it was a whole day thing. And I just had a lot of fun with it. I opened some Planeswalkers, just had a really great time. And then all of Lorwyn block, loved it. I think that's a very formative block for me. So I'm very excited to return to Lorwyn coming up. But yeah, kind of throughout my experience in playing Magic, I've really loved Limited and drafting, and also this is a little bit heavy, but I lost my father when I was pretty young, and Magic and the community became like a very positive influence in my life. Kind of learning how to compete, how to socialize, how to navigate spaces with people older than me.
Man, that is super. Like, I didn't know that, Benji, and it's just kind of great to hear like how helpful the community can be for people across like all these different social dynamics we have, whether it's like the loss of a family member or some other kind of like experience that we take to and it uplifts us in some way, or like you said, it kind of teaches you the socialization thing. So you were pretty young then when you first got into Magic, and then when your father passed, man, I'm really sorry that you dealt with
Oh
that.
yeah, no, absolutely, and you know the different in different moments of my life, like I moved from Chicago to LA for my high school years, and kind of instantly was able to find a community there. You know, when I
Right.
moved to LA, and you know, drafting and playing at the Comic Bug, and then eventually at Collector Legion, where I ultimately met you, Joe.
Yeah.
And I feel like I've just made so many long-term friends through Magic. All the regional championships like feel like reunions because I get to like, you know, see all these people from all across the country, you know, like 3 times a year. And even going through the COVID era, through a lot of the online competitive play, and getting to sort of dive into limited data and theory, like that was kind of when 17 Lands started to come out, and I started to listen to these podcasts, and Magic's just the best. You know, I don't
Absolutely.
envision myself ever stopping playing Magic.
That's great to hear, man. Yeah, I remember first meeting you at Legion. I was like, man, who is this young kid about to play me? I think it was like a PPTQ, or maybe when Legion was running their series qualifiers, when they had something going out there, and you were playing like some black white mid range deck. I believe it was in Modern, and I just thought I was gonna roll you up, and you surprised me. I don't know. I think I actually lost, but yeah, you're just a happy person, and it was just a joy to play with you. And obviously, whenever we hang at events, it's always a pleasure. So again, glad you're here. Glad you picked up the cards when you did, and thanks again for coming out here. Coming to talk with us. So
So
Yes,
Ben,
sir. Oh, go ahead, Pete.
I was gonna say, so Benji beat you too.
yeah, dude, everybody.
I've only gotten to play against him once at an RC. I think it was what, RC DC. You were on Ban Enchantments or something, right?
Yes.
Yep.
Yes,
Oh, and Pioneer.
In Pioneer, yeah.
Oh, and you were playing Demons.
I was playing Mono Black, yeah.
Yeah, okay. Good
But
old Enigmatic, huh?
yep.
Yeah, but no, I remember that Modern deck, Joe. That was Black White Gideons.
That's right.
Quite the strategy.
Oh, baby, that's so funny.
Yeah.
It was good it was a good experience for sure. So
Oh yeah, I've always kind of loved those like off the wall Modern decks. Just, you know, when the format's so large, you know, being able to build stuff like Bluetron, you know, Black White Gideons, like you know, those kind of decks bring me a lot of joy. So yeah.
Black White Gideons, you're talking about 12 packed? Or
Uh,
this was before that. You
I
ever
think
seen
it was
that?
This
prior
before
to that.
Yeah. It was more just like a black white mid range deck that played Gideon Ally of Zendikar and Gideon of the Trials, I think it is. It's the 3 mana Gideon that
Yeah,
as long as
you can't lose
as long
the
as you
game.
control a Gideon, you can't lose. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like you just like wrap the board a bunch, and you know you always are left with a Gideon, and yeah, it's just a very fun deck to play.
Yeah, and then you know, like Thoughtseize and removal, like yeah. You were basically playing like a black white mid range control deck, right? Like clean up the board, try to pick apart your opponent's hand, slam a Gideon and accrue value.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't even remember all the plus abilities on Gideon in the Trials. I know the static was as long as you control a Gideon Planeswalker, you can't lose the game. Or did you have to make
You
an
can make
emblem?
him
I think that was the plus or something, right?
yeah, I think it was a 0 or something, but you could also make him a 4/4.
I remember that.
And then I think you could make something attack him or something.
Okay, yeah, that sounds right. And we might be confusing the War of the Spark Gideon with the Amonkhet Gideon, but the other three mana Gideon.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I think now we'll kind of switch gears and talk quickly about upcoming events and standard. So, Pete, what do we got?
Oh, that's my cue.
Yeah,
All right.
it's your job.
Hey, my guys. So this weekend, what is that? The 7th through the 9th?
9th through the 11th.
9th through the 11th, we have Spotlight Avatar in Atlanta, which is standard, $50K prize pool. Top 8 get Pro Tour invites. And then at SCG Con Atlanta on Sunday, there's a limited championship qualifier. We'll get into that later. And then January 23rd through the 25th is RC Portland.
Coming up quick.
Yeah.
Are you going to Portland, Benji?
No, unfortunately, I'm going to neither of these events. Taking a little break, and then I'll be going to the. It's in Toronto. It's Lorwyn Limited.
Spotlight.
I think it's a Spotlight.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Spotlight
okay.
Toronto.
All right, and then we have RC Milwaukee, February 20th through 22nd.
Yeah, so Pete and I are going to be going to Milwaukee, but we will not be going to Portland.
Yeah, and all of those are standard. When's Toronto?
Well, I'll see you guys in Milwaukee, because that's like right in my backyard. So
Okay.
I'll just be driving over from Chicago every day. So
Very
Nice.
cool.
I'll see you there.
Nice. So yeah, some things to kind of look forward to. Again, really the only relevant constructed format these days is standard. With
Yes.
the RCQ season, played in RCQ. Pete convinced me to play Esper Bounce at the local store. Unfortunately, it was only an 8-person, so it was like immediate cut to top 8, single limb.
Yeah.
Lost round
Joe
1
didn't play it right, so he lost.
I didn't play it right. I didn't play it. It's true. Played our boy Scott on Saltai Reanimator. I don't think game 1 is very good at all, just because if they like turn 4, turn 5, maybe even turn 6, Superior Spider-Man and like bring back a bunch of stuff, you can't win.
Yeah.
Game 2, I had a lot of hate for him, but just I decided to commit to killing him the following turn rather than hold up interaction, and he top decked a Superior Spider-Man, so I lost. So Scott, if you're listening,
Good
whatever,
game.
dude.
Good game.
Good game.
No salt.
Good
This is
game.
no salt.
No, he
podcast.
knows that. He knows. Scott's my boy, dude. I love Scott. All right, so standard. So, again, if you'd like to follow along with our discussion about the standard metagame, we took a look at the last week's worth of events, whether it was challenge events or there was a super qualifier and there was also a Japanese championship cup special. Over the course of the last week, we looked at all those events that had at least 64 players. So again, 5 challenges, a super qualifier, and a Japanese special cup. 784 players across those 7 events. And those 7 events were won by 2 Simic Orboroid, a mono red deck, a mono green landfall deck, Selesnya landfall, Dimir mid, and 5 color allies. So pretty good spread across those 7 events. Simic Orboroid is the only one that's doubled. Before the cast started, Benji and I and Pete, we were talking about how Simic Orboroid has shifted over time.
Evolved.
And it's essentially like a mono green deck that's playing just a little bit of blue interaction in form of Into the Flood Maw. I've seen some lists are playing Mockingbird as well. But then some of these newer lists are also splashing red for Devastating Onslaught
And Frostcliff Siege.
and Frostcliff Siege.
Or
Yeah.
Frostcliff Siege.
Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah, and another important part of this deck is Quantum Riddler, just to
Yeah,
be able to refuel
absolutely.
after.
Well, and
Yeah,
Quantum Riddler with Frostcliff Siege is great.
Correct. Yeah.
Yeah.
Give your stuff haste.
And it's just another trample enabler.
Yeah.
So if they gum up the board, you can still just win with your stuff that doubles. And
Yeah, because it
power.
gives it trample and haste, right?
right.
Yeah, and then the other side of Frostcliff Siege is whenever a creature you control deals damage, you
Draw a
draw a
card.
card. So it's like a global curiosity effect, which, I think most instances, you're probably just going to choose trample and haste, but I think there's plenty of situations where maybe you're just going to want to draw cards. But
Yeah, it depends on how the game's going, but
Yeah.
90% of the time, I'm sure you're doing trample and haste.
yeah, but it just seems like such a versatile card. So,
Yeah, I think people have definitely honed in on the power of Frostcliff Siege and its versatility and how it just pushes so much damage, especially when you're able to just flood the board with these mana dorks and just, now all of a sudden they're attacking for a bunch of damage.
yeah, I guess one of the issues that I have had with these mono green decks, because I've kind of played around with them a little bit online, is that they feel a little bit inconsistent. Like if you don't have Ouroboros, you're just not doing anything, right? You just have like a bunch of small creatures, and you're usually not going to get over the finish line with that. So I know originally people were not playing Nature's Rhythm. So Nature's Rhythm is green X sorcery. Search your library for a creature with mana value X or less, and put it onto the battlefield. So you're playing all of these mana accelerators, Gene Pollinator, Llanowar Elves, Leyline Weaver, which is the 2-mana 2/2 mana accelerator from the Spider-Man set.
Right, that untaps when you cast a creature with power or mana value 4 or greater.
I think is it any spell?
Any's.
Yeah,
Yep.
when you cast
It's
when you
mana
cast
value,
a spell,
4 or greater.
any spell 4 or greater. Yeah.
Notable Spider-Man Limited All-Star Spider Manifestation. This was like one of the best commons in Limited. I just like whenever this was in a pack, if there wasn't a busted rare, I was slamming this.
Yeah, just being able to like cast, generate multiple mana from a single card is always pretty powerful. And then the fact that it's just like a 2/2 is also really, really strong.
Yeah, great card. Happy it's getting some love in Standard. I always love when cards from Limited that I think are like really powerful suddenly make their way into Standard decks. It's like, I just love that. Like Grand too. It's like, oh, I love that. Look at her go.
For sure. Yeah, like I said, I was kind of messing around with a green base deck, and it would be like, oh, this hand looks super good. I've got a couple lands. I've got Elf, Gene Pollinator, and a Badgermole Cub, and an Ouroboros, right? So I'd snap keep, slam Ouroboros on 3, and then they would just kill it, and I'd be like, oh, well, now what? Yeah. So I think Nature's Rhythm is an absolute like necessity for these lists, and I think it helps, it helps kind of get you the card that you want. And then in the late game, I see some lists are playing like Crater Hoof Behemoth as like a finisher. So
right, yeah, just get that off your rhythm to just finish them off. And then I also have seen a lot of these lists playing some amount of Spider Sense in the 75. Spider Sense, the 1 in a blue instant with web slinging for a blue, counter target instant, sorcery, or triggered ability. Yeah. And this one really helps to protect those Ouroboros.
Absolutely. Yeah, because so I think there's 2 effects that crush this deck. One is a sweeper from a control deck, right? And the other is the Sultai Reanimator. What's
a bringer?
Yeah, bringer of. What is it? I can't even remember the card's name. Bringer of whatever.
Bringer of the Last Gift?
Last Gift, that's right.
That's the one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think
Joe doesn't want to remember that card after Saturday, so he's...
Yeah. Touche. So, yeah, I think Detect Intrusion, having the flexibility to both counter a Wrath and that effect
is great.
Is very powerful. So I think, Benji, you bring up a great point. Most of these lists that I've kind of looked through in the meta appear to be running for Spider Sense or Detect Intrusion from the Omen Paths, but still getting confused by that Omen Path stuff.
Oh yeah, it's so dumb.
Yeah,
so dumb.
I hope they do it again.
Yeah, give me even more cards I need to remember.
For sure.
That was sarcasm. And
It's gonna
everybody out
happen
there
5.
didn't know.
It's gonna happen what, 5 more times?
Yep.
Yeah,
There's gonna be 5 more Marvel
every
sets
single
over the course of
every
the
single
next 2
Marvel
years.
set they're gonna hit us with. You gotta know 2 cards now for every 1 card.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's gonna make this great.
Oh yeah.
This whole process here. It's not that bad. Hopefully, there's not a lot of playable cards.
Yeah. Fine. I just like to complain, you know.
No, it's all good. I get it. Okay, so then the next most popular deck behind Simic Ouroboros was Is It Lessons, making up about 15% of the top 8 across those 7 events. So obviously still a very powerful, well-tuned deck that can seemingly kill you out of nowhere. They get a bunch of mana reduction, whether it's Grand or Artist Talent. They slam a monument and then drain you, and it's over. So. Accumulate Wisdom is an absurd refueler for the deck. There is a lot of air, so if you can find a way to target the monument or stop them from killing you with a bunch of otters, I think it's a reasonable approach in a way to attack the deck, but still just very good. Third most popular deck was Dimir Midrange, about 13% of the meta. And then Mono Green Landfall was 11%, and Selesnya Landfall was 9%. So actually the most popular archetype, if you want to lump Mono Green Landfall and Selesnya Landfall together. Oh, and there was also a Mono Green Landfall deck that was splashing blue for Winter Night Stories.
Yep.
And probably a couple other cards, Into the Flood Maul and probably Detect Intrusion as well, or Spider Sense, whichever card you want to call it. So that was actually the most popular archetype. I've heard rumblings that Landfall is probably going to be the more popular archetype going into Atlanta. Earthbender's Ascension is an absurd Magic card.
Yes, it is.
3 mana.
Yep.
3 mana, make a 2/2. Go get a land out of your deck, and then once you get to 4 counters, you start putting +1/+1 counters on your creatures. Or is it
4 or 6?
I don't know, Benji. Do you
4 counters? It's 4 counters. Know this from Limited for sure.
Okay.
And yeah, definitely. And it's when the 4th counter goes on, you get to put a counter on something, which is nice. So
and and it gets trampled too, right?
Yeah. So this card's pretty absurd, and I think also shout out Mike Form Harmonizer from EOE. This is 2 and 2 green landfall. Whenever a land enters, double the power of target creature you control until end of turn, and then it has warp for 2 and a green, and it's a 4/4. So 4/4 for 4, that just doubles the power of your stuff. And this in combination with Ice Tail Explorer, you're gonna be dead super quick.
Yeah.
Plus, Earthbender's Ascension in the back, give it trample, you're just dead. And I think that this is the shift that I think really has put these landfall decks over the top is not messing around.
Yeah.
A lot of these cards don't play. This shift has really led to definitely a super increased win rate for this deck.
Yeah, Harmonizer's a really great card. I lost to it at Spotlight Orlando. Somebody was playing it was green-black landfall deck there. Then it's pretty good. Then I saw him, watched him play against Corey Burkhart in the final of one of those. What was it? What were those on Sunday? You know what I'm talking about?
I know.
At the Spotlights?
No.
The 10K or 5K?
Okay.
The 5K. He was playing against Corey Burkhart, and Corey's on
Vivi.
On Vivi, and that guy got him.
Okay.
In turns.
So yeah, so Landfall gonna be a contender. We skipped over one of these archetypes, Golgari Ouroboros, making up about 10% of the meta. I think that Golgari Ouroboros is just a powerful deck. with some of these like mono green ramp strategies into the Ouroboros card, but it also has this built-in infinite combo with what is it? So we had this conversation already. It's playing
Headhunter. What's it? The Bounty Hunter.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, the Beifong Bounty Hunters.
Yes.
And the vampire that has
Bloodghast.
Yeah. The card I can't remember for the life of me. I'm having a really hard time remembering card names these days. I can tell you everything about them, but
All right, pull that list.
Yeah.
Which one?
The Golgari.
Oh.
Yeah, but these Golgari decks are also sometimes playing some pretty deep cuts, like Foundsbane Troll from Eldraine.
Yeah.
This card doesn't play. This card's 2 black and a green for a 4/4, and when it enters, you put a monster roll on it, and then you can pay 1 and sacrifice an aura attached to Foundsbane Troll to have it fight something, which is just so sick. It's like a 5/5 trample for 4 that can like just pick something off easily. Really, really nice one.
Yeah, what's funny is I mentioned that some of these Golgari Ouroboros decks were playing that combo, but this doesn't actually look like it is. It actually just kind of looks like an Ouroboros deck with a couple black cards like Shoot the Sheriff and Fawnsbane Troll and Lively Dirge. So
an Overlord.
I guess a couple Overlords to refuel. So yeah, so no infinite combo in here.
Right. So yeah, if you look at sort of the Golgari Ouroboros deck and the Simic Ouroboros deck, like you can kind of lump them together. They're pretty similar, Badger Bowl Cub Ouroboros decks. There's the Landfall decks, So it's like there's Ouroboros, there's Landfall, and then there's Blue Red, and then there's Dimir, and those are kind of the 4 camps. And then there's some assorted like stuff like Jeskai, Allies, Boros, that kind of stuff kind of fall under that.
Yeah, so I'm pretty sure Jeskai Control actually won the RCQ that I was at. I mean, obviously it's a 8-person event, not really worth the data, but again, we've seen an increase in the amount of control since Worlds, and I think that continues to persist around like the 5 to 10% range. And again, we talk about it time and time again. Whenever we go to a paper Magic event, it seems like Control always has a slightly higher representation than what we've seen online. So,
right.
Definitely.
One thing about these Jeskai Control decks to note is something that I was talking to my friend. He was registering Jeskai for a tournament, and I looked at his list, and there's no Shiko anymore. These Jeskai decks, a lot of them aren't playing any more Shiko. And a lot of them are opting to play main deck Rest in Peace instead, just as a nod to these lesson strategies to sort of stop them from ancestral recall in them.
Yeah, I think that just goes to show you maybe how the matchup looks for Control against Is It Lessons. Like, I think it's pretty challenging just because they don't do anything. Obviously, that there's a lot of dead cards there, but I think that there's a couple more interesting creatures that they can try to get you with. And Jeskai Revelation is pretty insane, go over the top win condition for the deck as well. So,
well, and the fact Rest in Peace hits like 3 of the most played decks or strategies is pretty good, right? We're hitting Reanimator, Lessons, and the I Still Explore decks.
Right.
Yeah,
we're also hitting the Nature's Rhythms out of the Ouroboros decks.
Oh,
those out of there.
Yeah, even more.
Yeah, I guess what's weird is I'm not seeing any Reanimator decks in the top 8 of any of these
recent challenges
lists here. Yeah, whereas like Going back a couple weeks before the holidays. Wait, where is Salty Reanimator at? Is it not here? Did it fall off after Ken Yukihiro made his run, and that's it? Yeah, I mean,
Yeah,
that's weird. So going back to the week, the middle of the month of December was the last time that we were seeing Salty Reanimator in the top 8 of events with 64 or more players. So I don't know. But yeah, absolutely. Rest in peace. Hitting that deck's a big deal. This 5. Have you guys run into this 5-color allies deck?
I've played it 3-4 times.
Yeah, it reminds me a lot of like humans.
Yeah,
like modern humans.
Humans, yeah.
Yeah, except that their Thalia's lieutenant has trample.
Yes. Now, I haven't had an issue with it because I'm playing
mono
removal deck.
Yeah.
Allies also won the super qualifier.
I saw that.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
it's definitely super strong. You know, definitely high card quality here. Just like, you know, a lot of these cards are must answer threats. You know, especially in conjunction with each other. So
yeah,
makes sense that this deck is seeing some success.
Yeah, I just got lucky against it. Was able to play the same nowhere to run 3 turns in a row.
Yeah, so it's Earth King's lieutenant is basically Thalia's lieutenant with trample, but for allies. And it's instead of it being, you know, white and 1, it's green white. So a little bit more restrictive mana cost, but yeah, and then a lot of these creatures kind of have like built-in protection against sweepers and you know, and then you kind of have some interaction with Angst with Savior and some of these other cards that are in here. So yeah, I think it's not bad, but it is probably, you know, tier 2. But the fact that it won a 300-person online event is probably worth noting.
Right, and one other thing to shout out here about this deck is Allies at Last, which is another limited all-star. 2 and a green for an instant affinity for allies. Up to 2 target creatures you control each deal damage equal to their power to target creature an opponent controls. So this is 1 green, destroy target creature. And having the flexibility of 1 green instant destroy a thing, that's nothing to sneeze at.
Yeah, absolutely. For sure. So I'm just looking at should we look at the last 30 or last 15 days? We'll look at the last 30 days. I think the last 15 days have been significantly reduced because of the holidays. But it looks like Is It Lessons is pretty represented overall. 62% win rate overall. Demir Mid, 47% win rate. So I still just think it was pretty good, but obviously not a lot of data to go on here just because of the holidays, and then going back 60 days, I think the format was in a much different place, so
much different.
Yeah.
But like you said, Simic Ouroboros, Is It Lessons, Demir Mid, and then a landfall deck. You know, I think that those are the 4 pillars, the 4 camps, like the tier 1 decks, and then you need to pay attention to some of these other lists, some of these alternate variants of Is It decks, mono red, control decks, and this allies deck.
Yeah, standard. I like the diversity now after the bans. It's pretty nice.
Yeah, for sure, absolutely. I think 8-person RCQ, there was 8 different decks, so I thought that was pretty cool.
That's great. Yeah.
Right.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Beautiful. Claps for that, to be honest.
Yeah,
that's amazing.
Absolutely.
Right, when a couple months ago it would have been 8 VVs.
Or, you know, 3 Vivies at least, right? All right, Benji. I think we've talked as much as we can about standard. How about you share with us just a little bit of what it was like to compete at NRG and what you did to prep for it, maybe, and in hindsight, what you think you could have done to be better prepared, if you think there was something you could have done.
Absolutely. So, NRG Champs was composed of 3 different formats. It was 3 rounds of draft into 3 rounds of modern into 2 rounds of standard, day 1, and then there was 2 more rounds of draft, 2 more rounds of modern, and then cut to top 8. Or sorry, 2 more rounds of modern, 2 more rounds of standard, and then cut to top 8 draft, where there was a top 8 structure in which people, played the 3 of these formats. There was like a system for banning a certain format if you had a higher seed, and then you whoever won a specific game got to choose the next format, or the person who lost got to choose the next format. It's something like that. But yes, so those were the 3 formats that I needed to prep for. The limited portion was pretty much I just do what I normally did, which was draft,
Just draft a lot.
Play a bunch of drafts. Yeah, play a lot on Arena. I did do a coaching session to help me prep. Somebody who I really respect, his name is Vevale. That's his online name, Brian Hans.
Shout out to Brian.
Just shout out to Brian. This guy's incredible. He really helps me iron out my process and iron out my, whenever I have kind of, we'll go through drafts together, and I learn a lot from those drafts. So I highly recommend, if you're trying to get better at limited, do some coaching or go through drafts with people who, who you respect, who might have a different philosophy than you. The more kind of feel that you can get for the way that different people approach a given draft, the better that you're going to be. So I think that's basically the way I prepped for limited. And then shifting into modern, I chose a deck based on the expected metagame. I kind of read the field a little bit wrong. I thought that there was going to be a decent amount of Amulet, and I thought there was going to be some amount of Simic Ritual, since a lot of the people competing in the tournament qualified for the tournament playing Simic Ritual. And I wound up being slightly off. So I wound up choosing Storm, Ruby Storm, as my modern deck, and I liked it. I thought that it was a good choice, given the fact that I didn't really want to be playing fair in this event. I kind of just wanted to play something that could win on turn 2, 3, or 4, and kind of get him that way. And the room wound up having a lot of more Gorios than I expected. So I wound up in the tournament playing against 2 Gorios decks out of my 3 modern rounds, and playing some close matches. But ultimately, the matchup is a little bit in their favor, and they were able to get there. And then I wound up playing against Affinity in my last round of modern, and I'm like, finally, a matchup that isn't a matchup that I feel pretty good about. And I wound up just getting, kind of beaten by my deck, lose like 8 Ralph flips in a row, and get beat down by Salvage Titan on turn 3 or 4 both games. So or all 3. Yeah. One of the games I was able to get there, I wound up winning the game on 1 life, but I was able to get there. But he was able to get the last one. So yeah. And then for standard, I chose, this was right after Worlds. Lessons looked really, really great, so I wound up playing Lessons, and this was where I feel like I could have done a little bit better here in my preparation. I felt good about my play with Lessons, but I didn't feel great. I don't think I was able to reach the level to play really elite mirror matches. the field wound up being like 75% lessons. So of course I played, 3 mirror matches. The lessons mirror plays a lot like Phoenix mirrors. And I've played some amount of the Phoenix mirror, but not a ton. And a lot of my opponents were more well practiced, more comfortable in the mirror. And then also, um, my sideboard had I basically registered the world's list with an extra annul.
Okay.
And
Makes sense.
Just kind of hedging for more mirror matches. My opponents had 4 Origin and Metal Bending in their sideboards. They were splashing green and they were playing 4 Origin and Metal Bending to shatter the Artist Talents and the Monuments. And so they were just like really ready for the mirror in a way that I was not ready for. So I feel like in hindsight, I probably would have chosen a different standard deck. I probably would have chosen something like Sultai Reanimator, something that can go over the top. One of the competitors registered Naya Yuna as another deck that could go over the top. Jeskai Control. Just try to fight on a different axis than trying to edge out in the mirror. So
Makes sense.
Yeah,
that's usually
then,
my way to, unless it's like Hogak or Vivi levels of this is the best deck. That's usually the method that I prefer to take, is that if there is an obviously most popular deck, but maybe it's not as clearly broken as like this most recent version of Vivi or Hogak, or you name the deck. What was the other one that we played? Breach. I think that Breach
Nadu.
was a Breach, Nadu, like very obviously the most powerful thing to be doing. That's also my approach, is to not play the popular deck, but try to play something that beats the most popular deck, but is also reasonable against the rest of the field. I mean, it kind of seems obvious, and maybe it's not always so clear what that is, but
right, like going into the tournament right after Worlds, lessons looked like Hogak a little bit. It looked insanely powerful. It was like they were casting Ancestral Recall multiple times.
Right.
They were doing churning through their deck and winning in such an over the top way with these monuments that nobody was prepared for. That I was like, oh yeah, this is obviously the best deck and I should play it. And then come the tournament there, and come a few weeks after the tournament, looking at the meta now, there are many ways to evolve past this deck. There are many ways to meta game for it. They just weren't as obvious during that week of testing that I had to prepare.
Yeah, that's not a lot of time.
Worlds.
For sure.
Yeah, it was like the week after Worlds. I think we had 3 days to submit our decks. So after Worlds, so not a ton of time.
I got a hot take. I think Artist Talent is maybe a mistake of a card. I think just the way I have seen that card interact in these Izzet shells and how they can seemingly sift through their entire deck. It has this mana reduction ability on it. It seems so powerful.
It's pretty powerful.
Yeah.
It's very, very, very powerful card.
No, we already saw what it could do in Phoenix and Pioneer before they killed Pioneer.
Right, before Pioneer was shot in the head.
Yeah.
It was in my modern deck for the tournament too. I played 2 copies of Iris Talon and Storm.
Oh yeah, all right. See, and that's
that sounds
perfect.
Awesome.
Perfect example, right? It's a cost reducer, and it helps you look at all your cards, right? Yeah, that's great.
Get rid of some dead stuff, get rid of extra lands. It's awesome. Huh. But yeah, so I wound up 2-1 in draft. I thought my draft deck was about a 2-1. After I looked at it, it was pretty powerful. I had a couple of powerful rares. The Unagi of Kyoshi Island, Boiling Rock Rider. I had an Invasion Submersible, which is another powerful card. But was lacking some removal. I wound up playing on camera against Slacks, Jesse Hancock,
Hampton.
the first Jesse Hampton, the first round, and he brought in 2 waterbending scrolls for games 2 and 3, and was sort of able to identify the weaknesses of my deck and really get me with that sideboard juke. So that was good on him for that. And then I was able to steal the last 2 matches of that draft, finishing 2-1. And then I couldn't win a game of Constructed to save my life. And I went 0-5 in Constructed for the old 2-6 in the tournament. So,
but hey, you walked away with a little bit of money, right?
Exactly, a little bit of money and my head held high.
There you go, dude. There you go. You didn't have to travel super far. Right?
Yeah, I was just happy to draft,
Amen to that.
Happy I got to draft.
Right, it's just an honor to be a part of that, right? There's only 24 people.
Right.
Yeah, definitely really fun.
We really need like a Southeast
something
circuit of some kind.
Yeah.
I really
the
like
My Guys Invitational.
I don't know if we have the clout for that. We've got about 3.5 followers.
Well, prize support's clout enough. You just put
just throw a bunch of money out there.
Yeah.
Then 32 people will show up for a 1K. Yeah. Well, that's awesome, Benji, dude. We're just happy for you that you were able to take that down. I mean, obviously, you didn't drop a game in the NRG Open where you played for the team open, right? Like you just smashed your way through the limited portion of that entire event, right?
I think I lost to Bradley.
Oh yeah, that's right. That's right.
Yeah, but then I think a lot of my other matches went really well. I think both Vinny and House were just crushing people also, so that was they were just, I think they kind of got me, sometimes limited, you run into some variance issues, you run into some opponents with some better decks, but they were able to just carry me through those issues and crush their opponents when they had to. And then in the top 8 draft, I did smash through that draft. I was undefeated in that draft with green white, 16 creatures, 7 pump spells,
Oh man, that's the dream.
On the top 8's where it counts anyway. So.
Yeah. Sorry, Bradley. I forgot that you got that win on Benji. Bradley was my teammate. Yeah. I probably shouldn't have forgot that.
You were sitting next to him.
His deck was sick.
It was pretty good.
A really well constructed plan. So
we were super close. Bradley and Matt can blame me for the poor advice for Matt against House of Mana. So.
Gosh, that was a hell of a match.
Dude.
20 minutes overtime. That's the origin of the Twitter screenshot with the round time being 20 minutes over and them saying ban ambulance.
Yeah, dude.
So you guys are Twitter famous.
Ooh, the
famous.
The back of my head is Twitter famous.
Yes. I saw that as soon as he posted it. I was like, great. Hey, that's the boys.
That's the back of Joe's stupid head.
Vinny and I are just arms crossed, watching House just finish off this game and take a 30-minute turn.
Oh man! And Matt was like, "I'm supposed to Solitude this here, right?" He's pointing to Solitude in his hand, and I'm just I'm looking at the resources that House has available, and I just could not put it together that it was time to pull the trigger now. But Matt, obviously, being the guy who's played a lot more blue-white in Modern, he knew the line, and I don't know why he was coming to me for validation, but I think the best case was a draw for us anyway. We were in turns. Matt didn't really have any kind of clock to put him down, but for whatever it's worth, I don't think Matt and I dropped another game against Titan that weekend on blue-white control, but past is the past.
Yeah.
Sorry, teammates. All right, so let's talk about this limited pro tour. I think we've got a little bit more information on it. I mean, as you know, the first qualifier is coming up next Sunday, week away. And basically, there's some online and in-person ways to qualify for the event. So at the spotlights in the RCs, there's going to be a Sunday sealed event. And the top 32 of those events will be cut into 4 pods of 8, and the winner of that pod will qualify for the Pro Tour, the limited Pro Tour, which, Benji, you said the first one of those is going to be in 2027, we think?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
And then, obviously, the Hall of Famers, they can opt to use their Pro Tour invite to attend. The top 16 limited players from the Pro Tour and Worlds, kind of based on, I'm not sure how they're going to do it, the most points or the best win rate. I would assume it would be the most limited points from the drafts at the Pro Tours.
And win rates as tiebreakers, stuff
Yeah.
like that.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Their booster draft match results from each Pro Tour and Worlds. So that's how they calculate it.
And then the winner of Worlds is also qualified. And then as far as online goes, it looks like it's going to be the top 120 arena limited championship, or roughly the top 120 of those players will qualify as well.
Yeah, how's that work, Benji?
So the arena structure is there's the arena limited championship qualifier, which is there's day 1 draft, and then if you get 7 wins, you go to day 2, and then if you get 5 or 6 wins, you get entry into the Arena Limited Championship, plus $1,000 for 5 wins or $2,000 for 6 wins. So you can make a couple $1,000. This is probably going to replace like the Arena Opens that they were doing, but I digress. The Arena Limited Championship will happen, and then so that's closed entry for everybody who has an entry token to the Arena Limited Championship, and that'll take place late this year, and they'll compete in a number of Swiss rounds determined based on the number of players qualified, and the tournament format will be best of 3 draft, and the Arena Limited Championship will qualify 120 players for the 2027 Magic Limited Championship. So you get through those 2 stages, the championship qualifier and the championship, and then you're off to the limited championship for 2027, which is sick.
That's pretty sick.
Yeah. I think there's going to be a lot more people that don't typically play constructed formats of Magic that will be trying to gun for that as well. So that should be, I think it's just something interesting that they're going to try out, and hopefully it's something that sticks around.
Yeah, I think it's going to be pretty popular.
Yeah, I agree.
No, this is one of the most exciting announcements for me as a limited grinder, as a limited enjoyer, just like breathing so much life into limited as a format and giving it the sort of respect that it deserves,
Yeah.
The next step is to change the way that limited coverage happens, because I think it's happened the same way for many years, but I think it could be improved upon.
Yeah, for sure.
What, the follow 1 drafter type, or?
Yeah, like the follow 1 drafter structure, the sort of like over the shoulder, like kind of thing. I think there's some room for improvement there. Agreed.
And I think just about everyone would agree with you on that. Not really sure what that would look like, and I'm sure it's a challenge that the folks at Wizard and the coverage team have been trying to consider improving upon that. So I'm sure it's something they're thinking about. But
yeah.
Well, Benji, we really appreciate you coming and chatting with us, man, and sharing your story. Again, congrats on the NRG Champs berth, and look forward to seeing you again whenever that might be. It sounds like it's going to be Milwaukee.
Yeah, thank you, Benji.
But hey, dude,
Pete, Joe, thank you guys so much for having me. I really enjoyed yapping with y'all.
Yeah,
and I'm excited to see y'all in Milwaukee, and I'm excited for this year of limited. Let's go.
Yes, sir. Do you want to share any of your social media or ways that people can reach out to you if they're interested in contacting you?
Sure thing. Yeah. I'm on Twitter at Big Take 10. And yeah, that's the place. That's the place to find me on Twitter at Big Take 10.
All right. Pete?
Yeah. You just find us on Twitter, My Guys Magic Podcast, and YouTube, My Guys Magic Podcast, or me personally, PW999.
Yep, you can check us out on Blue Sky, My Guys Magic Podcast. You can also find me on Twitter at Joe_Mama_77.
All right, my guys. See y'all next week.